Hello there. My name's Morgan Sharp, and I am a social worker here at Happy Evolutions. And I wanted to get some stuff out on like to let everybody know, let you know this is a safe space, okay? And you can speak freely and openly about everything in here, and it's all confidential. But I wanted to also let you know that unless there are, if unless you express harm to yourself or others, um, or if there's I'm worried about abuse or neglect, then I have to take this out of there. But otherwise, everything is confidential. Um, but I wanted you to be aware of that, as well as providing any information to your care team that is needed for your treatment. That's the only things we would ever like go outside of here. Do you agree and understand?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. So what can I call you today? Like,
You can just call me Tiffany.
okay. All right, Tiffany. And so this interview is just gonna no, I guess it's not an interview. I guess what to say. But this first session is just gonna be to obtain some information from you about your history and everything about why you're here, and we're gonna go from that so we can develop a treatment plan for you. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Oh, what so what made you come in to see us?
So, my doctor was kind of worried about my mental health. I've been feeling some things like I get really overwhelmed and just I feel like the walls are just closing in on me. I just get so tired to the point I don't even want to bother to do anything and it's just I don't even feel like I'm here sometimes. It's just been a whole lot going on.
Okay. So your doctor sent you over to us. You referred us.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, now you were talking about how you feel like the walls are closing in. Like, is that a everyday thing or is that just a sometimes?
Um, in certain situations, I feel it a lot. I mean, I feel like most of the days, I feel it maybe at least once a day. It's just all coming to me.
Okay. Now, do you have anything else that goes along with that, or like any other? So or is it just the closing it, like closing in?
Sometimes I get really aggravated when things are just way too much. I mean, it's like I can't even breathe. It just gets to that point. And I mean, usually when it passes, I just don't even want to leave the house. I'm so exhausted from it.
I totally get that. That is okay. Um, now, do you have you ever been seen for this before at all? Or is this the first time going to be treated?
No, I've never seen anybody before now. This is like the first time ever that I've even gone to anyone for help.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. That's the first step. Um, Now I will ask a bunch of very mandated questions that I have to ask everybody. Um, Now, is there any history of substance abuse or medication? Like, do you take medication for anything?
No, I don't take any medication currently. No.
Okay. Um, what about have we ever had substance abuse?
No, 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 nothing like that.
Okay, I told you we have to ask everybody. Um, okay, so have you ever had like I'm thinking of a way to say this correctly, if that makes sense. Have you ever had any like suicidal tendencies, homicidal tendencies because of these feelings or
I mean, I don't really think there's so much suicidal. Sometimes I just feel like I just don't want to be here or like I'm just not really needed. You know,
okay,
it's not like I want to die, but it's like there's not really anything for me to really go on with.
okay, all right. Um, Now, so um, obviously, if you've never seen a psychiatrist or therapist before, that means you've never been like no medications at any time, like no psychiatric medications, no hospitalizations. Okay.
No, nothing like that.
Think just had to ask all these, very basic questions. Now, you did say you had the thoughts, but have you ever had any attempts at the suicidal?
No, no, no attempts with it. No.
So, like, I guess you've never had a plan or anything like that. Like, you just kind of didn't feel needed.
No, it just kind of, those feelings just kind of come to me where it's just, I mean, if I wasn't here, I wouldn't be upset.
Okay, that's a that's a very that's a very valid. That's a now now we're gonna get into the fun stuff about history and family history. So, can you tell me a little bit about if anybody in your family has had any diagnosis, any mental health or anything like that?
No, I mean, I don't think there's any history of anything like that that I can think of for them, but I mean, I don't really pay attention.
Okay. I mean, do you have a big family? Like, I should ask that, I guess, first.
Yeah, yeah, I've got my parents, I've got three older siblings. I also have a grandma that's really involved. So we've got a big bunch.
Right? That's a big family. um, okay, so let me go in on to, let's see, your step, like when we talked about substance abuse earlier, you said you had no substance abuse. Is that ever, or like you've never even tried alcohol, or um,
No, no, I haven't had anything like that. I'm just not, I've never really gotten to that scene, so I've never even now bothered.
oh well, that's not a bad thing there. Like that's not bad at all. Um, okay, so let's get back on the family for a little bit. Like, how did you? So you said you grew up with your mom and your dad, or your mom and grandma. What did you say again?
I mean, I have both my parents and they've been in my life, but they divorced and my mom kind of got married shortly after when I was young. I mean, I have three older siblings, but it was really my grandma that took care of me for most of the part just because my parents work so much. So it's really my grandma that's been there.
Okay. So are you married currently, or have any significant relationships?
No.
Okay. Um, and then what about kids, children? Do you have any of those of yourself, of your own?
No, I mean, I have my siblings. That's about all I really need.
Okay. Um, okay. Well, do you have any other, let's see. So you have your siblings or your siblings' kids or just siblings?
Um, just siblings.
Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your education and employment?
So I do have my bachelor's degree in social work. I'm very proud
Okay.
of that, but um, I'm not really working in the social work field. I wish I was, but it's just not really worked out. I've been doing all kinds of other kinds of jobs. I actually currently work with traumatic brain injury clients in that field.
Okay. That's a very neat profession right there. Um, and that takes a lot. Is that stressful for you?
Definitely. I like what I do, but I mean, just with the clients and the things they're going through, it can be a lot. I often take it home with me, honestly.
Okay. What do you so if you take it home with you, what do you do to really like what do you do for self-care?
I mean, I've got my family. I really do try to reach out to my grandma, but she's older, so it's a little bit hard. I mean, I try to take time for myself, when I get off work, maybe take that bubble bath, just relax. But
Okay.
sometimes some days are harder than others to do that.
Okay. Do you have any other family-based stressors? Like have you had deaths or births or moves or
I mean, I have an aunt that I'm really close with in my family, but she's really sick right now, so that's been really hard to deal with. Kind of not having her there all the time like I'm used to, and I don't want to bother her since she's not really where she should be health-wise.
Okay, I get that. I understand that completely. Now what about your history? Do you have any military service?
No, no, nothing like that.
Mm, okay. Um, Now I do when we're talking about your history and everything, I do need to know, have you ever had a history with verbal, sexual, or physical abuse?
Um, I mean, I've been talked down to before. I mean, maybe verbal, but I mean, it's just kind of a family thing. I'm used to maybe the way they talk to me and treat me, but I mean, I don't know if I'd call it abuse.
Okay. Uh, I can understand that. Now what does your support system look like? Like, do you um who do you talk to when you have had a stressful day?
Well, it used to be my aunt all the time, but I also talk to my grandma, and I really do love my older siblings. They're kind of easier to talk to. My parents are there, but I mean, I don't talk to them nearly as much as the other people I'm close to.
Okay. And have you ever had any legal problems? Like,
Um,
have you decided that you just decided to want to have have a little fun and it got a little out of hand?
no, no, I'm not at all in any trouble like that. I promise I'm good.
Okay. Well, I figure if you had your social work degree, but we have to ask. So, um, now I am going to ask you a little bit about your medical history as well. We did talk about where you've not, so you, we talked about earlier about your current and, medical conditions. You're not having any, correct?
Yeah, I'm nothing like that. No.
Never been hospitalized.
Mm-mm. No.
Do you have any history of a head injury?
No, not that I know of, no.
Okay. And what about any allergies? Are you allergic to anything?
Yeah, antibiotics, I really have bad breakouts and reactions to, so I can't really be prescribed those.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we've gotten a lot of information today. Uh, and I've made some notes on what you've told me. So, what I will say is that we're going to take the next couple sessions, if you're okay with it, and kind of divulge into more information about what's needed to so I can further assess you and we can get you the proper diagnosis and on the right path. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm ready for it.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.